Good morning, Chris. How are you doing this morning?
I'm fine, Chigi. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Sunday, by the way.
Same to you. We hope this Sunday is fine.
Yes, we're always hopeful regardless. Okay, so what are some of the headlines that caught your fancy? So let's start from there.
Well, the backlash coming from IBB, the revelation about, spanning from his
You did mention that he opened a can of worms.
That is what I'm saying. I said something that is spanning from his revelations, from his book, The Memo, his road in service and all that.
Yes.
And he opened the can of worms. And something I kept saying since the last 3 days when this story broke, that even the grandson of Abacha mentioned in the story has started to respond. The Vasta families are responding. The MK Abiola families are responding. Abacha family is responding, and many more might come up to respond.
Ex-dictators are responding.
There are a lot of names called upon there that are dead, and they were saying these are supposed to be witnesses. And it raises the issue of why now. Well, whichever way you look at it, I think.
Because if you ask me, I do not think a human being has the right to keep himself alive while, other people, die. Because if it was possible, you would have said, okay, it was intentional for him to wait, knowing that he will live this long and outlive most of the people that we are talking about. But it's not in his, in his power. I'm just saying this, probably in his defense.
If you look at it from the reflective point of view, from the spiritual point of view, and it's like somebody at a certain time in your life, you begin to count down and then try to make, way, align and become and clear some of the conscience burden that might take you beyond here. And if not for anything, you might say, you weigh where am I going? Where am I coming from? If I say it, probably these backlashes, and some people are supported. After all, some people supported the book, and already about 19 billion or 9 million has been raised for the library. So meaning that it's my people, like I say in Igbo land, Ndikwe and Ndiekwe.
Always, definitely. You always get that
some
dynamic.
people will support him, some people will not. A lot of people said, one man, Ato Eze. Well,
yes.
his speech
the oil magnates.
His speech at the launching was saying that all of us owe you gratitude, that you made me what I am. You took me around, connected me, that kind of thing. But when we were in school, there's this song, whenever there's September, I remember in September you had the third term in primary school, where the final result, whether you're going to go to next class, will be determined. There is a headmaster we used to have then. Whenever is that afternoon where the student will assemble and result will be released in a elevated platform of assembly, the student the other side, the teachers, that this song the man used to sing. Whenever he will get there and it will be like September Ndinochi, Ndinakwa. The student, once he says September, the student will respond, Ndinochi, Ndinakwa. No. In Nigerian political scene, when you say Nigerian politics, it's Ndinochi, Ndinakwa. One of our hot-minded politician, the Minister of FCT, Senate, is it?
Yes,
He said, Enyendeba. I thought he was going to go to the studios to watch that music. He was singing and dancing, Enyendeba, Enyendeba, Enyendeba. And all the politicians were dancing with him. And I'm sure if he comes out to sing now, a lot of politicians will still dance and sing along with him. So it is a serious issue. Some people are calling for his life imprisonment.
June 12 agitators, that our
Punch will always be punching. Who are the June 12 agitators?
Because,
let it not just,
Dele Momodu was part of them. President Bola Tinubu was part of them, yes. And they were all there. Dele, of course, missed his flight and couldn't come for, but he was, he planned to be there.
In life, what I notice in life is, There's one preacher, they call him Jerry Ezer, very popular.
Yes,
and
yes.
a millionaire preacher, energetic and that vibrant. He said, don't die.
Just don't die.
Whatever the situation, don't die. Now, what I've noticed from what is happening now in Nigeria is, once your head is used to break the coconut, you won't be there when it's eaten. This Nigerian politics and our growth to the days of freedom we are looking for, we might like Moses and the Israelites leaving Egypt and heading for the promised land. We might be looking ahead of promised land from there and we can see it from afar. But if you lose your head and die now, you won't be there when
now,
Joshua's
grandson.
When Joshua, Joshua only marched around and then the promised land walls were broken.
Joshua didn't have to do much.
So at the point, imagine what Moses went through to go with the Pharaoh,
to get them out of
competition of the march of wheat, of dropping his
staff,
staff, and then he turned into a big snake, swallowing, all this, and the plague and all. At the end of it all, he didn't get to promised land, just because of slight error, because he was a stammerer. And he couldn't handle his temperament and all that.
Yeah.
He was asked to strike the rock once and probably struck twice or three. That's simple error. People will see it as simple, but in the sight of God, it was a mark of, I am guiding you from far. And we're getting very close. You can even sight it and still cannot control you. So in Nigerian growth to democracy, all these hates, all these lives we have lost are being spoken for in the past. If Nigeria will look for in the future, it's only the living that will get there.
But do you think Abacha's grandson, not even son, the grandson is justified in calling IBB a betrayer? Is that something they know that we don't know?
What are you talking about? That's what I said. These people keep perpetuating wickedness. It only stops at the grandson. Still, the grandchildren of Abacha will still want to get equal.
A pound of flesh.
Yes. And that's why he said, whenever you are taking any decision today, if you love this nation, think about your generations. Whatever you sow, you reap. If you don't reap it now, you will reap it later, even with big margin, 100 million folds. So, it's called for reflection. It means the war is not over until what I have recommended over time, another Oputa panel of reconciliation, of people coming out to openly make this kind of revelation and, accept responsibility for what they've done, apologize where is necessary, and we will move on. Some people say that what has kept Nigeria was that singular experiment coming out of the military regime with practice democracy a little, it started crashing, and somebody called for that Oputa panel. May God bless the soul of Oputa panel, because the man got to the highest peak, apogee, and zenith of his life career in Nigeria and notched his name in the minds of Nigeria because of, if you don't know Oputa, you can only remember Oputa panel. And if they want to tell themselves the truth, what Oputa panel did to Nigeria is what they should do again.
But there were recommendations from Oputa panel.
The the panel was there. There were not much recommendations. They were just saying, come, let's say it now, settle there. It wasn't like the conference, constitutional conference, this one that Jonathan and the other people has come, that they kept in the shelves for so many years. Nobody has dusted it in to look what is inside there. And they said, they told us themselves truth there, but to implement it is what Nigeria has lacked the strong will to do. Meaning we are telling ourselves lies. The money spent, the time, energy, and then spent to sit with it and say, this is what our problem is. If we do it right, we'll get it right. Some people are sat on it and they don't have the moral and that mind.
Given the moral decadence that we have now in Nigeria, is another Oputa panel even possible?
So, once we begin to tell ourselves the truth and stand by it, and because I wish we have one day a leader will emerge who will say, let's go back.
Amen to
because
that.
the person who doesn't know where the rain start beating,
Amen to that.
will not know where the rain stop. Now we're beginning to get to a point where we are looking back and saying certain things that we need. But we should think some of these mistakes shouldn't be done again, because it keeps pushing Nigeria back 100 years every day. The singular act of annulling June 12 election is what kept us where we are. It was at that point Nigerians begin to feel our vote cannot count. Something might happen, and that somebody start using lexicon and languages that we never had before, whether it's cancellation, annulment. That word annulment, I had it for the first time when that happened. I don't know where it came from. Annulling election that has been regarded as freest
in the history of Nigeria.
So this is what happened. You see that singular where he kept us. Since then, we can't beat our chest as a nation.
And we even imagine how Nigeria would have turned out had Moshood Abiola become.
At that point, people were not thinking along tribal lines. People were voting, and they don't think about religious line. MK Abiola was a Muslim.
He was Muslim, but it didn't matter.
The people were voting because they were this hope. There was this unity that were building up, that people who can go forward, and then it didn't work. So it's
these guys.
IBB owe Nigeria a lot of explanation, hoping that God preserve his life a little longer.
Amen.
We
talk about still on IBB on Sunday Tribune before we get to the local governments in Osun State, the elections. IBB's bombshell: OBJ opted to leave army when asked to succeed Murtala. Do you think that's some kind of loyalty towards the military, or what?
Well, there are certain things that we say in Igbo proverb. We say when you give a child what is so big that it looks is beyond him or her, he said, "Did you give me this to give to who?" He would be like, at that point, knowing his hierarchy, knowing his position in the army, knowing what is there, he never expected that he would call upon to be the ruler of a nation like Nigeria. He was happy making his career, growing by experience and all in the rank and file of army. And suddenly, and the situation that propped him up, he knew that there are going to be backlash. Somebody has just been killed, and then the people sat together and said, the mantle has now fallen on you. You're like, what mantle? If it were smooth, I will save the mantle. But when somebody killed, am I sure that somebody will not come and say,
at the end of
the day?
So
I'm very sure that some people will even come to us and say, you were targeting this position, that's why you supported even the ones who came out. Nigeria is complex. So it was maybe some of these things that made him feel that way, because he has not tested the power then anyway. And when he got there and things started moving, after when he became the civilian president, he had the issue of third tenure.
Someone actually said that position he was given the presidency because it was a way to assuage the Yoruba nation after the death of MKO.
No, he was talking about when Murtala died.
Yes,
that was earlier. That's when he was the first, shot at the.
So I'm not saying that.
But later, that was happened. That's what really happened, and it was the same Babangida that took the lead.
Yes,
it was the same him took the lead, went to Ota 2 weeks after they have decided the powers that make Nigeria, which IBB is not a walkover. They decided it was like, you cause this wahala, you take the lead. Let's find out among the Yorubas who can hold this position, and like I keep saying, so that when we ask him to return it, he can. Because of what the one Nadeko did and fought Nigeria to a standstill, they now know that if he continues, they might have difficulty bringing Nigeria back to the table. So Babangida went to Ota, consulted with OBJ 2 weeks after he left the prisons, and told him to clean up and become Nigerian president, gave him some monetary support, and left. The rest were history. Because the party that were leading Nigeria then was meant to dominate him as presidential candidate. How that one came, I don't know. Jim Wobodo is still alive. He was a part of the highest member of the crew then of PDP. Now, I was at Nakon Nuga Hating when they were doing their final meeting before even the elections. And Olufalaye was given the other position in the opposing party, and that was a very clear
indication
plan to make sure that head or tail, the position of the strongest, the first position in Nigeria goes to the Yoruba nation. And it's in history, and they know. And that's what part of started bringing some assuaging the ones who have been. And they said, that was a very clever move then. Why are they not assuaging other tribes? A lot of people have issue that they have been feeling that they have not been assuaged. Once you treat a child the way you treat the other, you'll be happy and there will be peace. But in Nigeria, we find selective disposition of favor and gratitude, and some people are feeling marginalized and nobody cares. That is what is making the polity of Nigeria pensive and tension-filled. And until that is done, we cannot do more than we do. You understand?
All right.
That's it.
So, results from yesterday's poll shows PDP cleared all the seats in the local government elections
and that's what
in Osun State.
And that's what
I wouldn't say that you were expecting anything different, or were you?
Was it? And that is a bone of contention. What was the fight before? But not at a small price. They were reporting 8 people dead with former local government chairman who have died and buried. And now, that's what I'm telling you about Nigerian politics. Some people who were like, without me, Osun politics will not, Osun Democrat or whatever election will not hold, and they bare their chest to collect the bullets. Where are they? The election still held. Some people I imagine. I'm sure some of them have been declared winners, will be going to the mosque and the churches to do Thanksgiving. And all that have died will soon become history. Is Nigerian politics worth the life of any Nigerian? The politicians know, because that's their life, that's all they have. So they can stake. We that are not politicians are looking at it from that way. You know, so when you see a politician who can stake his life to do it, you now ask, is it that bad? Is it that he is so much patriotic that he wants to stake his life to do? Baba Dash is not true. They're only fighting for their stomach. Why should somebody kill to go and serve people he want to serve? It's not, that means he's going there for something. Why are people going with gun to win the election? Why are they rigging and risking their life if they are going for service? They are going there. Let them stop telling everybody any lies and go there, kill your way, grab, run, do anything you want to do. Don't come back and tell us you're going there for service. In Nigeria, the days of service in politics is fast going and going and going until we look back. But someday, I know, we tell Nigerians that it's no more business as usual. You don't go come and kill people because you want.
Being hopeful.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Adebanjo and Clark, the 2 nationalists that recently departed. In their 90s, someone is asking who steps in their big shoes. Big shoes of,
and suddenly I must fail to acknowledge and pay homage to Tom Adaba, the pioneer National Broadcasting Commission director that just left. Tom Adaba, a veteran broadcaster, a good man, and somebody I work closely with. We say, among the souls of the departed, may he also rest in peace. And may the angels of heaven sing them to sleep, hoping that people who will step into their big shoe will come.
Amen, amen. That's a great way to end the review. Thank you so much, Chris Maduka. It's always a pleasure talking with you, hearing you discuss things so passionately. All right, don't go anywhere. New Day continues right after this time out. Stay with us.
Save Nature TV. News in your pocket.